So I'm down here in Mississippi again today in a amazing mood. Didn't think I'd be in this good of a mood today, but I had a really good morning. And I went to White Pines. I didn't film anything there, but didn't realize I went there for smallmouth. Didn't realize opening day of trout season. I get there early, no one's there, thinking, oh, it's gonna be a good day. Dozens and dozens of cars rolling, so I got out of there. Caught a few trout though. That was cool. Caught my first ever golden trout. Try to, if I can figure out this whole editing thing, I'll add the photo in here. But came down to Mississippi. It's been cloudy all day, but it's warmer. I think it's in the 70s, low 70s. Throwing the slither rig. See if I can get any of those fall largemouth. Be really nice, wouldn't it? Add another species to my list. Caught some rainbow trout. Today's just been a good day. Big largemouth would just cap the day off perfect. Gotta get home. Dad's cooking on the grill. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully he's cooking pork chops. Haven't had those on the grill in a long time. Got the drop shot rigged up on my other rod. That's actually what I caught the trout on, so that was kind of cool. Just drop shot in at first a worm, a little one of those perfect habit bottom hoppers. Had a few smack it, one ripped it off, and I was like, okay, I'm thinking, I'm seeing a bunch of shad, bunch of minnow jumping around in this creek. There's one. So I decided to on the slither rig. Awesome. But I decided to decided to throw let's drop trout in a fluke, 4-inch fluke. Nose hooked it, one ripped it off right away, so I decided to hook it through like you would say like a grub if you're hooking it on like a jig head. Beautiful chunky largemouth. It's exactly what I want, but I want more, I want bigger. Awesome. Beautiful color this time of year. But so I decided to hook it like you would on a jig head. And I hooked into a there's an older gentleman there. He's actually really good at trout fishing. Told me that was actually a big one, that he hasn't seen that big of one come out of that area in a while. Which, I mean, that's awesome to hear. A guy that trout fishes all the time tell you that he catch one bigger than he normally does. It's a train coming. So that was awesome. Then I caught a bunch of rainbow trout. Hear me, I'm just going to try to keep talking over the train. I love throwing the slither rig this time of year. Granted, I just started this year, but it would normally be a jig. But because the number of snags that are here, I'm trying not to slither rig. But I like throwing this color slither rig right here. Normally I got a black, a painted lead black. I'm all out because the shad move in. Yeah, you can throw a shad imitation, but you're not really going to get hit on it here. I learned that the hard way by not catching anything. So this is more towards the bluegill color in here and some of the other bait fish that swim around. But this color along the bottom, I'm thinking to them looks like a dying bluegill, and they just scoop it up. If one comes by, they'll just scoop it right up. If the bite on this dies down, I'll be switching to drop shot. water level's gone up, which, I mean, I don't mind one bit. Definitely a lot dirtier than it was. Granted, it's cloudy, there's no sun. I like dirtier water. They tend to be a little more vicious. A little less scary. I was in a really good mood today. Might be because of my girlfriend. Maybe I'll have to take her one at a time. I just got a really good feeling. Yeah. Added new species to the list that I've never caught before, which is always fun. I haven't had any problems with my gear. I haven't lost any baits. Right away, catching a good largemouth. Don't know where, I still haven't figured out where the really big ones go this time of year. I think they might be out in the weed beds that I can't get to. Which, I mean, that's a downside, but they cruise a lot here. That's one thing I love about the spot is this is always a place they cruise to. There's always a bunch of bait in the water here. Even on the toughest days, you can always seem to find at least one bass here. There's one. Oh, another chunk. Not a big one, but it's a chunker. Really liking the slither rig today. Went with the green pumpkin instead of watermelon seed for the grub. For the dirtier water, a little darker, and they just... This is the same fish I just caught, I think. It's been caught before, at least. Beautiful, beautiful. Just amazing color right now. I'll release you back on the side that you came from. I noticed if I release them on this side of the log, there's a log down in the water here that comes out. They go that way, but if I release them here, they go back to where I caught them. Which that's what I want. I want the fish to be able to go back to where it was, be comfortable, recuperate. This time of year, colder water. I think the water temp's in the lower 60s, high 50s. They just really love this color of a jig or slither rig. Just can't get enough of it. I didn't even know that guy was there. So he was holding on to that for quite a while. My line just went slack. I was like, maybe I'm falling off a rock. And then I feel one slight little tug, and there he is. One thing I noticed too is fishing this along the bottom, like I don't know if they're viewing it as a crayfish or if they're viewing it as a dying bluegill. There's another one. Slither rig is definitely working today, to say the least. I don't even want to try drop trout right now. This one's a little longer, not as fat as those other ones. Right through the top of the mouth, perfect. Well, as you can tell, the slither rig's definitely working. They're all about the same size. They're not monsters by any means. This isn't the same fish. He's not hooked in the same spot as the other ones. Just so you know, not the same fish. Not fishing in a bucket. But yeah, that's about beautiful, beautiful color. Bright red gills. Super healthy fish. I love seeing that. You came from over there, and back you go. They're just crushing it right now. It's awesome. Puts me even in a better mood. It's just perfect. Family cookout tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Unfortunately, it might be the last time I get to see my great-grandfather. I get my last name from him. So that's kind of sad, but I'm his living memory. I want to make him proud. Whether it's fishing, my time in the Marine Corps, all aspects of life. I want to strive to be the type of man that he was. He's one of the greatest men I've ever met. Bunch of little bitty 1-pounders. I'd love to be able to get a 4. I'd even go for a 3 right now. That'd just be icing on the cake for today. I just love how they smack it. Some of them smack it and take off right away. The other ones smack it and just sit there. The ones that sit there make it a little difficult because you don't know if you're falling off a rock, because it feels about the same thing. I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce bullet weight on the top of this. 1/8 ounce. Let me get that right. 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, somewhere between there. But sometimes when I hit a rock and it goes to slide off, it feels like some of these fish when they bite. So it makes it kind of confusing sometimes, but once I tighten that line and they swim off just a slight bit, like I was saying, I just like to swim it like a dying bluegill or a crawfish along the bottom like you would a jig, like a 3 bounce cadence. I usually go 4 or 5, a little more aggressive, try to get them on that bluegill bite. If I'm fishing like a crawl trailer, I will just bounce it 3 times, then let it sit. Notice when I'm fishing it a little more aggressive, I tend to get those ones that they won't touch a drop shot. I might not pick up a drop shot at all in this video. Is that a rock? That was a rock. About the same as a bite. But there's another train coming. Busy day for trains, I guess. Yeah, if you see my other videos, I'm usually, especially in the fall, I got drop shot. It's in my hand, I'm fishing it. With decent success lately. But nothing like the slither rig today. I mean, cloudy, should be throwing the spinner bait, something like that. Spinner bait, chatter bait. Do not like the chatter bait. I hate that. I've thrown it multiple times. That's a long train. Yeah. It's my favorite spot to fish, so I gotta deal with this almost every 15 minutes almost. Especially on a Saturday. So I noticed something. One train goes by this way. the shad starts jumping around, come out of that tube into the area that I'm fishing. The other train comes back this way, does the exact same thing. All the vibration scares the shad out into the open water, and usually after the train goes by, starts a feeding frenzy. Whether I'm throwing the right thing or not, that's what it usually does. So I'm gonna get back at it. I'll completely admit it. I was at the point a few days ago that I've been going fishing every day. I haven't had really a lot of success. And the fishing's just been straight horrible, but those days were high temps in the 40s. And no good for nothing. I was about to be done bass fishing for the year. In the conventional sense, I should say. But past 2 or 3 days, it's been spiking back up into the 70s during the middle of the day, which, I mean, I haven't had the chance to fish in the middle of the day. I did today, but I went for trout, as I said earlier. And at the end of the day, went home, did some stuff for my parents. Decided, oh, I got some time. I'll go down to Mississippi, fish a little bit. Time to smack it. I was like, oh, why not? And I'm happy I did. I mean, I'm in a really good mood. The bass were here. Might still be. I mean, after catching 3 out of one little area, they might be a little finicky until the next rotation comes in, which I can't exactly time when fish are going to rotate into this area. All I know is, like, the way it seems is like every 15-30 minutes. Part of the school, there's big schools that go around here. Come into the area, leave the area. Catch them, you scare them out of the area. Notice as long as that current isn't flowing in and out of this tube, there's an inlet tube here the train goes over. As long as it's not flowing too fast, they're here. But if it's just pouring in or pouring out, you got better luck catching a bass with your hands jumping in. You got a really good chance of catching a sheephead if you fish when the current's really fast. But nice, calm, waves coming in. It's nice. You usually know what areas, well, I usually know what areas the bass hold up in when the water's like this. What big rocks or cement slabs that are in the water that attract them to the area. And it's getting towards the afternoon. I think it's about almost 5. So that's usually when the big school of shad around here usually comes to this area. Seen a few flashing in the water. Itty bitty tiny backlash. Another baby, not bad. I'm still trying to figure out where the big bass have gone. Like the earlier videos, I think it was early September. I found them on the edge of the lily pads, on the edge of timber, over by the dock. And the only thing I've caught from there is crappie on drop shot, which was surprising. And itty bitty little dinks, smaller than the ones I've caught so far. Even drop shot stopped producing bigger bass, which really disappointed me because I was catching 3 or 4 pounders on drop shot. I wouldn't go that big, 2 or 3 pounders. And now it's just like throw a 7-inch worm, catch a 6-inch bass. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Thinking not getting any more hits with this. I might give the drop shot a try really quick. I'll give this 3 or 4 more tosses. See if anything at the rock. Fancies this slither rig. A few days ago I thought my reel was broken. For some reason it wasn't reeling right. So I cleaned it and I noticed I had a bunch of sand inside from a place I was fishing with a friend. You can see that video. It's just the Bass Blitz video. You can see the place we were fishing, how many fish were actually getting caught, how crazy that was. Might have to go back there sometime soon. But oh, is the sun gonna pop out? Yes it is. Too bad behind trees and it's not gonna affect me. Ew, I really hope I'm not touch it right now. That's over 3 grand. I mean, it was just crazy because last year I didn't really fish at all. This year I didn't start until July, end of July, which is really disappointing. I didn't fish spawn at all, which I can't wait for the spawn in this spot. Oh, that was a good one. Oh. Hit it so hard he tore my hook right out of my grub. I think I can still use this grub for one more fish. Oh, I'm really hoping that one stays in that area. That was a big one. Almost yanked my rod out of my hand. Still be there, baby. Come on, I want you. But it's crazy because the way I've bass fished has changed a lot this year. I've been trying a lot of new things. Put on a lot bigger baits than I used to. I used to throw itty bitty tiny little baits just to catch any bass I could. It's like, oh, I just want to catch fish. And then starting to get involved with bass tournaments with my dad, doing like co-angler tournaments. And that was rough. And the way I looked at bass fishing completely changed. I didn't use a bait caster before 2 years ago. Like right before I left for the Marine Corps for boot camp. started doing tournaments with my dad, I noticed a lot of applications you need a bait caster. Well, you don't need, but better with a bait caster. So I decided to learn how to use one. Found one I really liked just this last summer. Actually, I think that's one of my first videos is not paying attention. That one didn't really hit it, just picked it up and started swimming with it, but they want it, so. But, yeah, you should just throw like itty bitty little feather jig for smallmouth and largemouth. I caught like a crazy amount of bass one day. I think I took my camera with me. It was 117 photos of different fish throughout the day. Anywhere from crappie, smallmouth, largemouth, big bluegill on feather jig. It was just insane. Then, like I said multiple times now, I got involved in bass tournaments with my dad. And started learning actually how to bass fish, like flipping a jig and all that, which I got addicted throwing jigs. That's the only way I wanted to fish was throwing a jig. And I found a combination of a Strike King Bisty Bug jig with one of these rubs in the watermelon seed color. And it just tore smallmouth up. Got my personal best smallmouth of 6 pounds, 3 ounces on it. Caught multiple largemouth here. Started learning how to like Texas rig stuff and all that. Just got really big into bass fishing. It kind of took over my entire life. I get out of school, go fishing. Now I get off work, go fishing. And it just relaxes me more than anything. And here comes another freaking train. Maybe that'll switch the cycle. If I'm lucky. That one's flying. That because when the train first goes over, there's just like a stampede of shad that comes out. Well, whatever's out there's not hitting no more, and that's disappointing. I'm not gonna get that more perfect if I tried. Oh wait, I did. That train going by made me notice that my board I'm standing on isn't exactly the most sturdy. It's just kind of half sitting on a rock right At first I was coming down here, I was like, oh, I'll throw a slither rig a little bit, nothing. I'll try the chatterbait. So I'm glad this slither rig paid off because I absolutely hate throwing the chatterbait. But I got one because there's a lot of hype about it. Oh, it works so good during the fall, works so good during the spring. So, not trying it for the fall, throwing it way too many times, wasting my time on it way too much. So I'm just sticking to the slither rig for the fall. Need to get new grub on there though. This one's so torn up it's not even swimming right. Yeah, 'cause I mean, that one that just crushed it, devoured it. But this is what they are. The Zoom Fat Albert, Super Salt Plus Fat Albert in the green pumpkin. I like the watermelon seed a little better personally, but they didn't have that color. I was really disappointed. Granted, I could throw a crawl imitation on the back of this. And it's not the name brand slither rig, I just call it that because I don't know really what else to call it. It's just your basic $2 pack of lead weight, and I think that is a 1/4 ounce. Had a jig that I snagged and the hook actually broke. So I'm happy I found that out then instead of with a fish. Took the skirt off it, I threaded on the line. A 2-aught Berkeley Fusion extra wide gap worm hook. Fits just perfect for these grubs, and that's exactly what I want. Super sharp. I've never bent one of these hooks out. I've pulled logs in, I pulled a bike in with, literally I pulled a bike in